Well, a very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live. This is our top news bulletin and the big story at 7. The explosion under Bree Street in the Johannesburg CBD late yesterday has claimed the life of one person. The victim's body was recovered in the early hours of this morning. 41 people were injured. The cause of the explosion, which caused minibus, taxis and other vehicles to overturn, remains a mystery. Some eyewitnesses recalled smelling gas after the explosion, but Igoli Gas says its network has experienced no pressure loss and that customers in the area continue to receive an uninterrupted gas supply. Let's now cross to our reporter at the scene of the explosion, Mbalenhle Mthethwa. So, Mbalenhle, we know when we first crossed you in the previous hour, you were at the Bree Street taxi rank or just outside it. So you could get a view of where the incident happened, saying that some of the roads were closed off. Traffic was crazy. I mean, it was building up. Where are you now? And talk to us about what you are seeing in that Joburg CBD.
Well, certainly, Leanne, and I was somewhat a bit distracted as you were introducing me because we are trying to get that interview with Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, who has actually just arrived here at the command center here at Mary Fitzgerald Square ahead of a media briefing where he's expected to give Johannesburg residents an update following the incident that took place yesterday. And yes, indeed, you are correct that Igoli Gas has somewhat refuted allegations and claims that, you know, their pipelines might have been responsible for what we saw happening yesterday, which led to 23 taxis or vehicles, mostly taxis, getting damaged, and over nearly 12 people are really getting injured and having to seek medical attention at various hospitals in and around Johannesburg. We do understand that the Premier has stepped inside, but okay, I've got the mayor here and they're about to steal him from me to go join the Premier, where he's also getting a report back before going in and coming back to brief the public here. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. What can you say that your preliminary investigations have found so far?
Our preliminary investigation, and in particular, I think there's a report that we've only experienced one fatality, which is also I said that we have encountered such. The preliminary report indicates that we have a lot of aged infrastructure under the surface in the city of Johannesburg and the CBD in particular. At this point, we engaged with Igoli Gas, which is one of the companies that have a pipeline that runs underneath. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately for the residents, it is not a gas explosion. We are trying to get a determination as to what may have been the cause of the explosion, because from what they have informed us, they only have one leak, and it's a few kilometers away from the incident itself, and it is just a leak from a valve that they've already sealed. So by virtue of there being a smell, we are trying to get an indication, and we are trying to assess the air quality and so that we can establish as to, in fact, what is the severity.
Certainly. Now, I know that you need to go inside for that report back before that briefing begins. But before I let you go, I have to ask about some of the allegations made by some that the cracks that we see on the ground could be a result of illegal mining operations in the area. You will understand that there have been sinkholes that have been mushrooming in parts of the CBD. I mean, I know there's one that I drive past almost every day. The road has been closed for a very long time, and that sinkhole has not been really fixed. What can you say the cause was? Can you attribute this, or can you just to illegal mining in the area?
Look, we know that illegal mining is a general concern for Gauteng as a province in particular. As it relates to the incident here, I do not want to single out illegal mining as the main cause of this particular disaster. However, we are not dismissing the possibility that it could be. As you would know, as the executive mayor, I have a strong position on illegal mining, and we are deploying mechanisms on how to eradicate the problem. As for rather than us always conducting operations that are at face value, we need to delve in and tackle this challenge head on from the root cause, as a matter of fact.
Certainly. Now, how long will it take for a majority of these sinkholes to be fixed and to be resolved?
The sinkholes in the city of Johannesburg, in the inner city, where we've experienced these challenges. We cannot go immediately, and would have to assess the integrity of the infrastructure that currently exists, so that we do not cause further damage. So, as per the report that we'll be receiving, we'd be in a position to give you a clear answer as to the time frame that it will take for us to ultimately fix the infrastructure there.
Okay, thank you so much. I know I've kept you here for too long, and you need to be inside. Thank you so much for allowing him. Thank you so much. We've got Isaac Mangena, who is the spokesperson for City Power right now, joining us. Now, Isaac, you know, we do understand that this is a rather sad day, especially after the discovery of one person has actually lost their life since the incident that took place yesterday. We do understand that, you know, City Power might also have, you know, gas lines or whatever. You know, what have you discovered so far?
Thank you very much for having us. As City Power, we still have the lights off around that area within the CBD of Johannesburg. Electricity, there's no electricity as we speak, because one of our substations, Bree substations, is actually a few steps away from the epicenter of this explosion. And as such, we don't want to risk a secondary explosion by firing it up. So what we have done basically is to isolate it so that it can be safe for our teams to get in and be able to assess the structural integrity of where the substation is, to see if there is any damage to any of our infrastructure. Currently, what we know is that underground we've got tunnels, as you remember, where our cables basically run, and that structure, the tunnel is basically caved in with the road. We've got other services that are also running parallel to our cables, including gas infrastructure and also water infrastructure. So we have been advised by the emergency services that we need to basically get a clearance from them of the safety in that area before we can actually start to move in. So as I'm talking to you now, the residents will not have electricity until such time that we will be able to basically get in and make our own assessments and switch it on.
And do you foresee any sort of hazards? I mean, obviously you have switched off the power as a precautionary measure at this point, you know, but is it because you fear that there might be, you know, some an explosion of sorts after what happened yesterday? What are the dangers that lurk in the background, really?
Obviously, we are still in a very critical stage with all this happening overnight, in the evening into overnight. So we don't know what could happen. But you know that gas and electricity don't mix. So immediately when you fire it up, there might be an explosion because of the electricity that might actually get into contact with the gas. So we're just waiting for all those that are doing the tests around the methane in the area and also the air in the area to tell us that it is safe now, that you can basically try to switch on, because we don't also know if we try to switch on, maybe the substation itself has been damaged by this explosion, so it might not even fire up. So we're still going to make those assessments. My team was basically there overnight, but even this morning they woke up there to basically ensure that they start with the test of the cables and other equipment that goes around, and if we get a clearance, then we might switch it on. But we don't want to risk anything obviously at this moment. We'll just wait to hear from the emergency services to say what is it that needs to happen, and we can basically be there.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it. That is the update from both the Johannesburg Mayor Kabelo Komanda as well as City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena, just giving us an update on the precautionary measures that they have taken, saying that power supply has already been cut off to that area in the city of Johannesburg, and this is just to ensure that this is while they are undergoing that investigation to check the quality, the air quality, and also just to ensure that there is no damage to the infrastructure which really runs underground here, and see if it is safe and whether or not it is safe to put back the power at the substation, which is right next to where the incident took place. For now, though, Leanne, it is back to you in studio.
All right, Mbalenhle, thank you very, very much. So, of course, a briefing that the Premier is going to be giving shortly. We'll hopefully be able to dip into it. If not, we'll get a report back as to what has happened overnight and the latest on this situation, where the cause is still unknown at this stage, and questions are being asked as to how this has happened and what we can do. So we certainly are going to be very closely watching that particular story as the programme carries on this morning.